Kita ra guys.
Kitara.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
recording.
Kitara, kitara.
Who's recording?
Okay.
Okay, start.
Okay, let's go. Good morning, everyone. We
Morning,
are the
guys.
group one. We're the group one, and we're gonna discuss about adhesives, sealants, and gaskets. My name is Bryce Alatraca, and I'm going to report or narrate the whole presentation, while my members, Seno Sergio, will discuss about adhesives. Flores Neldrick will discuss about sealants, and John Kent Maratas will discuss about gaskets. So let's start.
Nawala ka.
Hello, Seno. Ikaw na, Seno, adhesives. It's your turn.
Oh,
Yung bukaw.
Wait lang. Okay, hello, madunggan ako, sorry.
Yes. Loud and clear.
Okay. Drake, pwede ko pa ano sa adhesive na
yeah, sure.
slide.
Sige, sige, sige.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Okay, so hello guys, my name is Sir Anthony Bisano. I'll be your reporter for today, and our topic is gonna be about adhesives. Yay! So, do any of you guys
Okay.
know what adhesive is? Have we any idea unsa ang adhesive? What could an adhesive be?
Pampilit.
Yes, pampilit. Tama. So, an adhesive is a type of substance which is used to conjoin two or more parts of a single unit. So, naa ni siya advantages. Its advantages it is there's a wide variety of combinations when joining parts. It can be used for bonding surfaces of glass, metals, plastics, and even wood. It can also possibly prevent corrosion between metals joined, and it also produces adequate strength. But also, our adhesives have disadvantages, like the adhesive substance requires some time to attain desired strength. The substance does not become stable at high temperatures, and also with our adhesives, we have factors determining its quality. So it has intensity of adhesion, durability, resistance to heat, strength developed, kato siya. So, next slide, Kuya Neldrick, please. Yeah, so, naatoy duha ka types of, naatoy duha ka, murag, yeah, types of adhesives. We have organic adhesives and synthetic adhesives. Now, with organic adhesives, we all know naman what organic and synthetic means, di ba? Correct ba ko? Or does na ay uban na? Okay, so for sure, kibaw na tatanan what organic and synthetic means. Now sa organic, we have our animal protein glues, we have blood albumin glues, we have casein, oh, casein adhesives, we have starch adhesives, and with animal protein glues like fish glue, Uh, these are glues obtained from boiled animal waste, pieces like skin and bones, with hot water. These glues are strong and easily applied but are affected by damp and moist conditions. This is used in the manufacturing of plywood, laminated timbers, and etc. So, like sa atong makitaan sa picture, animal glues are more on the yellow side, and it's more solid, and you have to heat it up para um with hot water para like makahimo kag glue. And next we have blood albumin glues. Now, these are made from dried blood. So the glue is of better quality and is affected by damp and moist conditions. This is used for making furnitures. Now, atang next is casein adhesives, which are made from protein extracted from skimmed milk. Una siya murag siya creamy white ang color niya. And these are glues that are resistant to moisture when used for purpose joining purposes, but non-resistant to molds and bacteria. Now next we have starch, which is made from vegetable starch. It has good strength on drying but non-resistant to to moisture. Now next we have synthetic adhesives. Now, synthetic glues are based on synthetic resins. Now, uh, pwede ko pa next. Now, for these, we have two types of adhesives. We have the thermoplastic adhesive and the thermosetting adhesive. Now, for the thermo for the thermoplastic adhesive, these are soluble, fusible, and poor heat and creep resistant. It is normally used for low to medium assemblies of load under reasonable service conditions, having good resistance to oils but not to water. So atong mga examples of thermoplastic adhesives include polyvinyl acetate, which is white glue. We have polyvinyl alcohol and polyacryla. Now, like white glue na acid tayo, wood glue, like that. And for thermosetting adhesive, these are infusible, insoluble, and have good creep resistance. It is used for high load assemblies and severe conditions like heat, cold, radiation, and etc. But ang nakabati ra ning thermosetting kay these are more expensive to purchase and use than other adhesives, but it is used for structural load bearing applications. So, ang natin mga examples really like pwede ta pabalik sa slide 2 Nel.
Sure.
Thank you. Now, atong examples of is that uh phenolic resorcinol, urea formaldehyde, melamine resins are glues that are strong and waterproof. Their setting time can be regulated by varying the amount and kind of hardener. They are fungal resistant and have non-staining qualities. Now, ato ang first diri na synthetic adhesive is phenolic resins. These are available in powder, liquid, and film forms, requiring heat and pressure to form a permanent strong bond. So, kita mo na, it's like liquid. Oh, liquid red siya tanaw. It's very nice. So, they are used in manufacturing resin-bonded plywood. Next, we have resorcinol resins, which are dark viscous liquids that become hard in short time at low temps, being able to resist heat, moisture, fungi, and bacteria. Next up, we have formaldehyde resins, which are available in powder or syrup form, extensively used in joinery work to form water-resistant glue in joints. So, siya powder ang nasa picture. Next, we have melamine resins, which require heat and pressure for setting. It is used for like atong plywood. And nakalimot ko sa pics, but we also have two more, which is the rubber-based solvent cements and the epoxies. Forgot about it. So rubber-based uh, solvent cements, these are adhesives made from combining one or more rubbers or elastomers in a solvent used in a wide variety of applications like plastic laminates, countertops, cabinets, desk, and table. And we also have epoxies. I think we guys know what epoxies are, but as a description lang, it is an adhesive made from complex chemical reactions. Various resins are made synthetically by the reaction of two or more chemicals, and this can bond a variety of substrates with high strength and is used to replace some traditional metalworking methods like joining nuts and bolts, rivets, weldings. So I think some of you guys use epoxy man for our design plates, di ba? Correct ako? Yes, correct. So, uh, adto ta sa last slide. Palihog.
Yes, sir.
So, correct. So, we have our properties said when it comes to adhesives. Kaya, syempre, naman type, ano. So, first up, we have cohesive strength. As the cohesive strength is increased, the adhesive becomes more brittle. Adhesives should have more strength in cohesion than the surfaces are being held together. Next, we have adherence. For an adhesive to hold surfaces together, the former should form a strong bond at each interfaces. So, yeah. Also, we have fluidity, which is stirred become temporarily more fluid because of the tiny crystals alignment once the stirring stops and the fluid thickens. So yeah, the thyroproxy of adhesive helps prevent sagging when become coated on vertical surfaces. And lastly, we have wettability, which adhesives must wet the object's surface. So kibaw naman ta na wet jud na ang like liquid form jud na ang adhesive at first, diba? So it has to wet the surface of what you're trying to stick together or trying to join together. So letting it flow to the surface crevices, this will lower surface tension of the adhesive. So yeah, maura to siya ako ang report for adhesive. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio Seno.
Thank you.
For our next topic, we're going to proceed to sealants. Sealants or sealants, I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically, it is a type of substance that is used to block passage to cover any kind of leakage in any material. It is also important in construction as well as adhesives. For sealants, we're going to go into further detail with Neldrick Flores's presentation. Okay, go.
Hi guys, good morning. So today I'm going to be reporting about sealants. So sealants is a viscous material that changes state to become solid. Once it is applied and is used to prevent fire, air, dust, liquid, or smoke from one location through a barrier into another. So I'm sure you guys have ideas on sealants, no? Because this is actually really important, especially kung buildings, balay, mga balay kay we have to make sure nga dili sad magtulo if mag-ulan, or we wouldn't want any small particles of dust to just get through to small gaps, no, because sige na po, it's actually really a big problem sad. So these are actually one of the main things that are the importance of sealants. So sealants, despite not having great strength, unlike as adhesive, convey a number of properties. They seal top structures to the substrate and are particularly effective in waterproofing process by keeping moisture out. And another thing about sealants is that it actually fills a gap between two or more substrates. It forms a barrier through the physical properties of the sealant itself and by the adhesion to the substrate. And it actually maintains sealing properties for the expected lifetime, service conditions, and environments. The sealant performs these functions by way of correct formulation to achieve specific application and performance properties. Other than adhesives, however, there are few functional alternatives to the sealing process. Soldering or welding can actually also perhaps be used as alternatives in certain instances. It also depends on the substrate and the relative movement that the substrate will see in the service. And also, in my next slides, we actually have the types of sealants. Now, there's actually 14 more, but I'll just be giving 3 because it might be taking too long. So first we have the silicone sealants. So these are the ones we actually use in our windows, sa CR, especially kada bitang sa toilet bowl, di mag-leak ang ubos. Mga bathtubs, we actually use that in the corners to prevent mga dust or mga leaks. Leaks also. Mga corners sa bathroom with tile walls. Ang corner ana medyo nabutangan og silicone sealants, and then so windows. Windows are actually also has that to also prevent any liquids or gas to just go inside the house. And then next we actually have the bituminous or bituminous sealant. This actually mao ni siya ang gamiton sa mga rooftops. So para dili magtulo sa balay, this is actually really useful, good. And then we also have the butyl sealants. So for the butyl sealants, these are durable, long-lasting seals between all types of masonry, steel, glass, and other common construction materials. So these are actually really useful when it comes to go and get if you wouldn't want any liquid gas, or also this actually also helps for any fire emergency, so it could also block that. And here's an example of where sealants are actually placed. So as you can see, as I said, sa CR pa, sa corners, sa walls, sa tubs, also sa sinks, so windows, and then also pipes, and then sa doors. Then these are actually the types of caulk guns. So what we usually see now in constructions are actually the bulk caulk gun or the manual caulk gun. They're powered is actually as you know, siya electric, so since advanced naman kay taron, everything's much faster. But what you would also mostly see good in constructions are actually the manual caulk gun and the bulk caulk gun. So yeah, I guess next would be for gaskets.
Thank you, Mildred Flores. For our last presentation will be gasket. It's a type of mechanical seal that fills the space between two or more mating surfaces. To go into further detail, we'll have John Kent Maratas to discuss about that. Okay. Go, John Kent.
Hello. Mic check. Marunong ko?
Yeah.
Yes, so
I will present my slide.
as you say. Wait a moment.
For a while. So, makita ra. Makita rang slide.
Oh, makita ra.
Yeah, Kitara.
Okay, so good morning everyone. I'll be reporting about gaskets for this group. Now, as what Bryce said, a gasket is a mechanical or an elastomeric seal which fills the space between two or more mating surfaces in case of irregularities, and is generally to prevent leakage from or into the other joined objects while under compression. And they are usually manufactured from a variety of materials, including rubber, cork, or paper, metal, copper, and foam. And commonly, these are used in water pipes. And one of the most common industrial uses of a gasket is, yes, as a seal for a water pipe. You can also find gaskets used to seal boilers or fuel tanks. So, generally, the gasket prevents leakage of liquids and gases between the component parts. Now, gaskets are used for many purposes due to its functionality, including anti-vibration, packaging, hygiene, noise reduction, and sealing. This flexible element can be used for many purposes due to its functionality, and a gasket material is chosen for an installation on the basis of the features of the material, such as its resistance to chemicals, temperatures, pressures, acids, gases, and sometimes electromagnetic or electrical forces. Gaskets are common components and can be found in cars or any vehicles, electrical equipments, and pumps, especially in manufacturing plants. And now, as you can see in this picture, the gasket is bolted in between the two flange. It is bolted between, and it is uh, fuck. So so for the gasket to function effectively and seal away any leaks, it must be compressed adequately to generate an entire barrier that will make a seal that is compressed uh, adequately to generate an entire barrier that will make a seal that is pressure tight and protect the contents inside the seal. Or else, accidents may happen, like gas leaks or liquid leaks. And once seated, a gasket must be capable of overcoming minor alignment issues like these: the misaligned flanges, the flange surface waviness, and some surface scorings and other surface imperfections from the flanges. So next is, so this is how it looks like when the gasket is being applied in between the flanges. It is bolted in between. And now, if you're wondering why don't they just attach the two surfaces directly? Now, a gasket may not be necessary if the flanges are extremely smooth or are perfectly mated and is able to maintain that perfect contact between these two flanges. But this is impossible since it is difficult to manufacture extremely smooth flanges. Also, during operations, corrosion and erosion occurs on the surface of the flange. So most of the time, the tendency of not placing a gasket in between the mating flanges, it would cause leaks, especially on liquid, because of the irregularities of the mating surfaces. And now there are three main types of gaskets. The metallic gaskets are suitable for extreme temperature, pressure, and chemical exposure, and is high tension bolting. For the semi-metallic, they can be suitable for both low and high temperature and pressure applications, depending on the what's that term? Anyway, so for the non-metallic, these types of gaskets are suitable for low and high temperature applications and are low to medium pressure applications. So yes, so examples of metallic gaskets. So for the camp profile gaskets, they consist of a metal core serrated on both sides, generally made from stainless steel, will not damage flange surfaces and is easily removed. Temperature resistance is up to 1000 degrees Celsius, depending on the coating material, and they are resistant to pressures up to 250 bar. Another example of a metallic gasket is a metal jacketed gasket. A gasket, it is a gasket with a metallic outer shell, and either a metallic or non-metallic compressed fiber filler is metal jacketed gasket, where the filler material offers resilience and metal jacket protects the filler and resists pressure, temperature, and corrosion. Another example is the ring joint gasket. These are solid metal gaskets and are used with stand high pressure and temperature, and they're employed where corrosive agents are presented. It is recommended that the gasket material may be softer than the mating flanges. So the ring joint gaskets generally are made from actually soft iron, low carbon steel, alloy steels, stainless steels, and also be designed by some non-ferrous metals. For example, high nickel alloys, super alloy steels, and titanium, and etc. Now, an example for the semi-metallic gaskets is the metal reinforced graphite gasket. These are suitable for sealing against steam and most other media, with the exception of strongly oxidizing reagents. And these examples of a gasket have strong resistance to thermal shock. Now for the metallic gasket, the elastomer gasket are suitable for low pressure and low heat environments and will create a seal with a low bolt load. This is ideal for flanges that use low grade or low quality bolts. Another is the compressed sheets. These are designed to provide superior sealability, bolt torque retention, and temperature resistance for service ranges and applications that are not severe. And lastly, the Teflon gasket. Used as a gasket material with strong chemical resistance properties, it is extremely soft and formable, which is why it is often used for chemical resistant seals and gaskets. And that is all.
Flores, Leo could present sa slide.
Sige.
Sorry sa word.
So, hey guys, it's me again. I'm going to summarize the whole presentation. Or as again, the first we have adhesives presented by Seno. We all know what adhesives are. It's coated with glue, paste, mastic, or other sticky substance. And we have the basic types of adhesives like white craft glue, what we use for papers and our art crafts. And you also have yellow wood glue for wood, stick well, as an example. Super glue, shoes glue or mighty bond, and we have hot glue and epoxy. And we also know that adhesives can be organic and synthetic and can also be classified as thermoplastic and thermosetting, which was discussed earlier by Sergio Senna. And for our next presentation was sealant. Again, it's a substance used to block the passage, typically used to close openings between spaces that are too small for other materials. And sealants are usually used in tiles to avoid water leakage, also used in rooftops to avoid water from entering the from entering houses, and also in glass. Yeah. And lastly, we have gaskets that was presented by John Kent. It is a it's a mechanical seal that covers the space between two or more mating surfaces. And it has three types: metallic, non-metallic, and semi-metallic. Overall, the three of them are basically simple materials that are apparently very important in construction. They, like for example, what if in construction you have holes to block or gaps to fill to avoid dust or from water? Where do you go? You use sealants, diba? Um, if if sa machinery factories, if na disruption sa inyong machines kay maybe you just need more gaskets to replace, nana. And also in adhesives, they are there for surfaces to stick together. Basically, they are very important, and without them, the whole construction could possibly fall apart or fail. So that ends our presentation in Group 1. As again, I am Calatrata, the reporter. We have Mildred Flores, Sergio Anthony, and John Kent Maratas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I love Cebu.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Group One. Just a few additions to what was reported. Because, for example, in the adhesive, there was mention of a fish glue, and the only time that I encountered this, actually I did not encounter this, but I saw its application is in the YouTube, because I follow a channel on restoration of paintings, and then this is used for that purpose. So whenever there's an oil painting, not a watercolor painting, so before restoring, this guy would cover it with a Japanese paper, but he uses wood glue. So with that Japanese paper, the painting is protected, while I mean fish glue, no? Protected while he's working around the frames and everything else. And then when he's ready to retouch the paint, he removes that paper by dampening the paper. So um, using water and the damp cloth. So the fish glue would easily melt with water. So he can remove that is the whole thing, and then expose again the oil painting. And that's the time that he makes the retouching. So this is one way, one use of that fish glue that was mentioned, and which you can probably also use in other applications related to that. No? The other one is I would like to talk about the wood glue, because when you are trying to, these are the more common adhesives that you will encounter in construction or in some projects, especially when you're making furniture and you encounter some holes or gaps, you put wood glue, or simply if you want to bind two pieces together. But when you have gaps and then you put wood glue, it's better to mix it with the like shavings or fine shavings of the wood, so that the color is retained. So once it dries up, you see the color of the wood itself. Okay. Sometimes they use epoxy. Some carpenters use epoxy, but we use epoxy only on what we call rough carpentry. But if it's like furniture or finishing carpentry where the wood will be seen, do not use epoxy, because the epoxy shows, unless you paint over it. But if you use lacquer or uh, or varnish, you see the epoxy stand out, no? Because the color is permanent. It's like peach or something. Um, Sir, what brand na common diri sa Philippines about adhesive? So it depends on what adhesive you're trying to buy. Uh, I don't know about the uh, wood glue. Even Elmer's is there. Normally, when you order wood glue from the hardware, they give you the most common brand, most popular brand. And also, when it comes to gasket, you will seldom encounter gasket unless you're dealing with machines. If you're into cars and you're into fixing the uh, engine, so you might encounter some gadgets there, or into plumbing, you will encounter a lot of gadgets there. But in the daily use, you will encounter this gadget in a faucet. When the handle is loose, no matter how much you close it, it still discharges water. The problem usually is a loose gasket, or the gasket is worn out. So the plumber would remove that handle and then replace the gasket and then return it, and then the problem is solved. Okay. Um, but other than that, everything was covered, and it's a very good report. So congratulations.
I,
So
sir, I have a
okay.
question about
Yes.
sa fish glue or sa starch glue, sir ba?
Mm.
Dili siya murag tapukan og ants or yeah, insects.
Ang fish glue, I don't know, because the application was temporary lang. So
Oh.
after just a
Okay,
few minutes of working, remove niya. But then the starch glue, the common brand for starch glue is Joy. Kanang mura siya o kanang laundry powder.
oh,
But if you mix it with water, it becomes like a paste. And then you use this most of the time in paper mache projects. You dip
yes.
your paper, and then when it's all wet, so you shape it, and then it dries up. But I so far in my experience using starch glue, it's not attracting any insects. So maybe it does not have sugar. So I don't know. But so
Thank you,
far in
sir.
experience, wala. Rugby is not in the, what's MUC? Mix. So adhesive. Rugby is contact cement. So I think Rugby is a brand. So the product is really contact cement. Okay. Um, it should be in the synthetic adhesive, included, but particularly which one, so I don't know. Maybe some of the group members can answer that. No? So let's proceed to the next group.
And ako
Are
yung question, sir.
Yes.
My question. Kato yung mong gi-mention ganyan, sir, ba nga katong wood
Which-
substance mixed with wood glue para unsa na siya,
Yes.
sir? Sa purpose ana niya?
For example, if you have a hole, you're not even trying to bind together two pieces of wood. No, you just have a hole and you want to fill it up. So you mix the glue with like the powdered
Kanang dust.
like dust of the wood, no, powdered wood of the same species, so that when it dries up, it looks the same as the wood itself. So that's the only reason. So that when you
Pwede din.
apply varnish, so as if there's no hole there, and that also applies when you join together pieces of wood. So at least when there's a gap because of imperfection, so the gap doesn't show because you can see all wood. No? And then because otherwise it might come out transparent, and although there's adhesion, you can still see the crack, so which is not good, especially in furniture. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Also katong sa ano sir sa rugby, I think ma-appeal siya sa rubber-based solvent cement.
Yes, rubber based. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So just be careful when you're using rugby because you might get high. You know?
yeah.
So and make sure that when you apply it, you're in an open air, so not in a closed room. Yes, rugby boys. So you'll be one of them. Second group, Lorraine, Matthew, Clarence, and Elijah.
We're here, sir.
Okay, so anytime you're ready, we're just waiting. Okay, the floor is yours.
Hello.
Hello? Asa mo makauban?
Hello.
They abandoned
Lorraine, are
you.
you there?
Yes, sir. I am here.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay, guys. So, 1, 2, 3, go.
We
R.
Group.
Come on now.
Okay,
Okay,
so
restart. Ay, ikaw na, sir.
okay, so guys, we're going to report hardware, fasteners, and accessories in construction. So, Relaine is going to report hardware, fastener. Will be reported by me and Clarence, and the accessories will be reported by Elijah. So, Relaine, ikaw na.
So when you think about hardware, you actually think right away of the hardware store because true to its name, hardware is actually encompassing a lot of stuff. So hardware is the general term for a wide variety of accessories used in building construction. And these are usually made of metal or plastic. And there are two types of hardware, finished hardware and rough hardware. In a nutshell, the difference between finished hardware and rough hardware is that finished hardware is more attractive looking, made to look attractive because these are not concealed, while rough hardware, these usually are covered or like they cannot be seen because their job is to attach things in a building. Next slide, please.
Relate that pillar.
Next slide. So finished hardware is hardware that has a finished appearance and also a function that may be considered part of the decorative treatment of a building. And these are usually made in attractive shapes and finishes. That's why, like, when you want to buy a new door handle, they usually are very different in appearance because it needs to suit the beauty taste of uh, whoever is going to use that for their door. And these are usually visible on the completed structure and finished hardware. Since it needs to be visible, these are usually used on doors, windows, and cabinets. And this is also called architectural hardware, finished builder's hardware, or builder's finished hardware. So the two pictures are some examples. Those are door handles and some hinges that you can see. And yes, okay, next slide. So some examples of finished hardware, one of which is the lock. So a lock is a mechanical or electronic fastening device that is released by a physical object like a key or by supplying a code like those that require like a password or a combination of both because there are now locks that require a key and a code. Next slide. Another example are hinges. These are mechanical bearings that connect two solid objects, and this allows a limited angle of rotation between the two. So these are usually found in doors. That's why you can swing open a door and such. Next slide. Another one is a door handle. This is an object attached to manually open or close a door. You can, if a door is already hinged into a wall, you can open it. You can swing it open by pushing, but I'm not so sure about pulling it to close it fully. But door handle usually also includes the lock nowadays. Next slide. So we'll talk about rough hardware. These are all small miscellaneous items that are necessary to join, attach, anchor, or hold various materials together in a building structure. And these may not be visible in the completed structure because, like what I've said a while ago, these are used to join and are usually covered already. Although concealed, it may stain adjacent or covering materials. So, uh, producers of these rough hardwares are trying to lean more towards alloys so that they won't really rust anymore. But these may still corrode and eventually fail its function to join materials if care is not taken in its selection and application. So some examples of rough hardware are bolts. These are threaded fasteners used to hold materials or objects together. These are usually paired up with nuts. Next. Another one is a nail. This is a pin-shaped object, usually made of metal, and is also used as a fastener. This has a sharp point on one end and a flattened head on the other so that we can hammer it into a surface. Another one is a sash window. This is actually the frame that holds the pieces of the window together as a single component. So it's the one that makes the glass of the window independent of the wall and it allows the movement. And it is like within the window frame. And uh, so with these rough hardware and finished hardware, there are actually some classifications of hardware. if you want to further group them together. So there are like bathroom hardware, door hardware, window hardware. Some bathroom hardware may include like towel railings and such. So now it will be Matthew and Clarence's turn.
Okay, so hi guys.
Hey,
So kami ni Clarence, we're going to report about fasteners. So I have a question, guys. What is a fastener? Can someone answer the question? What's a fastener?
Katong sa folder.
Yeah.
no,
Actually, yeah.
yeah. No, dili na mo.
Pero okay, so a fastener, basically in simple definition, fastener is something that holds two things together, just like in the PowerPoint. In construction, it connects structural members to resist shear and bending stresses. So there are a lot of stresses in construction, like compression and other things. But one of these are resist shear and bending stresses. So some ng shear, just like a paper good, like pagkat, like gisi, something like that. And bending is just like, bending, like bending a stick. So there are lots of types of fasteners. So there are like all of them or maybe more. So let's call Clarence for the types of fasteners. Clarence, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I was just holding a meeting just now with my team. So before I start, I did say I was holding a meeting with my team, and loy kayo kaya mo sa namo ka employee kay na tagakan o kani mga fastener na tagakan sa screw hait kayo na tusok siyang ulo. Mao na akong emphasize ninyo nga dapat when you're in the construction area, dapat you should feel safe. So what is important? I mean, what should you wear? So dapat mo suot mo mga life vest. Okay? Wait, wala lagi ako video. Ano man ni? Akong video ah. Wala? Sure. Wait ah. This is not good. Ano man ni?
Who's presenting now?
Si Matios eh. Ay, ako sa
No, but I mean, whose slides are this? Maybe he has to stop sharing first, and then you share your presentation.
Wait, what? Camera failed. Adara? See, I'm wearing money. You have to wear a vest.
Oh,
So you should feel safe. Okay, so important dyan na nga maka-feel safe ka sa construction area kay na di ka ganahan ma-discuss sa construction area. Okay, so muna akong i-remind ninyo when you're in the construction area. So let's start with the bolts. A bolt is a threaded fastener which is always coupled with a nut. So kanay sila dili sa magbuwag, forever na ni sila. So these types of fasteners have external male threads and nuts have internal male threads. So ambot lang yun na female threads. Okay. So here are some examples. We have some carriage bolts, a hex bolt, machine screws, and shoulder bolts. Next, let's talk about screws. I'm sure kamuta na nakabaon sa ng screws, and I'm sure nadyo mo yung screw lying around in your house. And these are the fasteners which create their own threads of fastening into the material. They typically have a head and a shank with helical threads. They have different types of head styles and recess or drive styles such as slotted, Posi-Drift, Felix, Hex, Torx, Robertson, etc. So the head style or the drive style is the top of the screw where you use the screwdriver in. And here are some examples: the deck screws, self-drilling screws, and sheet metal screws. Next slide. Matthew, your turn.
Okay, so guys, these are like some types of bolts according to their heads. So we have track bolt. Track bolt is the M-shaped head is more like roundy and it has cylindrical shape right here na mas bigger sa iyong body. And then the aircraft bolt is very not similar sa track bolt. Aircraft bolt is something like bitong texture sa mga cover sa, for example, glue, di ba? Like there's like vertical lines to help you turn, or easier siya ma-turn, or di siya slidey. So that is the aircraft bolt. Next is the square bolt. I'm not sure also yung shape dun sa head, but this, when you look in orthogonal view, the side, this is square bolt. Next is the lag bolt. The lag bolt is more like emphasizing T shape. So next is the flow bolt. Flow bolt looks like a flashlight, right? So that's how it looks like. Next is the flange bolt. Flange bolt, for the texture head, it's just like this one, flange head screws. That's how it looks like. Next is the round bolt. The round bolt is, as you can see, much smaller in thread. And also, it's round po yung head and kind of similar sa track bolt, but it has no this kind of shape sa iyang body. Next is the elevator bolt. Elevator bolt is like combinations of flow bolts, square bolt, and track bolt. As you can see, it looks like a flashlight. Also, it has like square structure right here, so that's why it's kind of square bolt. But also, this one also looks like the same as the track bolt. Actually, protruding area in the sides of body. So above the screws, we have the flathead screws. As you can see, the head is flat. Next is the buckle head. It's kind of similar with the flathead screw, but this one is more emphasized. And we have this oval raised head. Almost same like flathead screw, but the head is kind of curved. Next is the pan head. As you can see, if you actually look at the head, more siya pan pa ng like red, something like that. That's how I find that. Next is the bottom head. The bottom head is kind of unique because the usual screw that we see is like cross or the minus sign, right, for screwing. But this one, it has its very unique shape. This one is hexagonal. Next is the round head. The round head is just like the round bolt. How do I say this? Roundy. Next is the truss head. Truss head is like how do I say this? It looks like a hat, but at the same time, I see it as a bread. Next is the binding head. Binding head is much flatter version of pan head. Next is the filister head. Filister head is more like adjust iyahang sides. As you can see, mas baga ang iyahang head than the binding head. The flange head, you know that Prius has a flange bolt when it comes to their heads. Next is the socket head. Socket head is same like the button head. Unique iyahang shape. This uses parts iyang screw, but also different sa button head because of the shape of the head. Di siya parehas sa button head na marag red or something. This one is cylindrical. So, I think manata diri, Clarence, are you there?
Where's the next slide?
There.
So, I don't know if nakabantay mo ato, pero natay laking boat niya agi sa ubos. Yeah, that's a very common risk of hazard sa construction area. So, I'm going to re-emphasize again, you should feel safe. Dapat masuot yung kaning construction vest. You must feel it's very important to feel safe. Karon kung pagkagabantay, nga din ako ni buckle. So, I'm going to buckle it first. Level 1, I feel safe. Ano ba ni? Oy, di man ka masuot. Ano maga? Wait, cooperate. Ana. So, level 2, I feel safer. Yeah, okay, ano man yun. Alam, nasayop na ko pagpapot. Never mind. Sige. Basta, I feel safe. Mga na importante. So, nails. Nails have been used since ancient times, and they are still an everyday household item. You can easily spot the difference between a screw and a nail because they don't have threading. So a screw has the threading while a nail doesn't. So while a nail doesn't provide the same holding power a screw does, it has greater shear strength. So meaning it's better to the nail has better ability to cut through material. So it can punch through harder materials more like concrete, making it a better choice for some applications. Next, we have the nuts. So, mo niya katong uyab sa bolt. So, this type of fastener is used in tandem to the bolt to hold components together. So, here are some examples: hex nuts, and coupling nuts, and some flange nuts, and etc. Next slide, please. Matthew, your turn again.
Okay. So, balik na sa nako. Wala, kanindot sa nails, oy. Dili ka ni left side, ka sa right ba?
Yeah.
So we have this another types of nails when it comes to their heads and to their body. So we have this common nail. This common nail is the usual nails that we use in construction. Though wala ko zero experience ko sa construction, but I know this is a common nail. This is how it looks like, and the next one is the ring nail. The ring nail is kind of what a clear shape, right? Its head is more flat, and its body has this rug shape. So this one, the purpose of having this sa nails is it helps prevent na dali ra siya matanggal. So that's why they're like variations of nails na pes ani. So we have this ring nail. More flat yung head and this rugged shape. Next is the oh my god. Okay, so next is the finishing nail. The finishing nail is kind of similar with the common nail, but more on the head. Yung head is much di siya flattier and mas baga, but as you can see, so that's the finishing nail, like finishing combo. No, joke lang. Next is the spiral shank nail. Spiral shank nail is, ang head is the same as finishing nail, but when it comes to body, it has a spiral shape, spiral curve. So more siya ganang, how do you say this? A screw, right? But dili siya parehas sa screw because this one is pointy and it does not kuan bito kanang wala siya mga something diri para ma-hold sa screwdrivers para ma-turn. So it's for like duk-duk na dyan. Next is the box nail. The box nail is much flatter when it comes to head. So yeah, that's the box nail. Next is the roofing nail. I think from the name itself, this is for the roofings. As you can see, much smaller yung size, and then therefore it looks like much baga because it's smaller. So as you can see, it's just like the box nail, flatter ang head, and it has its unique how do you say this texture is a body, but different sa ring nail and shank nail. Next is the casting nail. Yeah, it's like a smaller version of common nail or other nail na walay texture kayo sa body, but ang difference jud ilahang head. This one, as you can see. So next is the masonry nail. The masonry nail is unique side, like all the other sides. It's the right side unique. The head is unique. It has this curved parts ahead. It looks like an opening flashlight. So when it comes to body, there is a carved shape right here, a straight and then it curved. It also helps hold tightly sa nail, and it looks like a pencil really if you look at it like this. I think manata diri. I hope mo na boring. So Clarence, please continue.
I am back. So, nag-meeting na po mi ganiya sa akong team and kanang reklamo siya nga saba ko no kay manok. So, election daw ko na niya. Pero nakuha na disgrasya sa construction area. Na po ng disgrasya sa construction area kaya wala di siya nagsuot sa construction vest. Mga kung ingon ninyo nga dapat yung mga suot construction vest kung naman sa construction area. Nya kanang di na ko mag-show video kay napakita na po kaduha, so I think you get the point na you should feel safe. Okay, so number 1, washers. These are thin metal or rubber disc shaped plates with a hole in the middle that comes in various sizes. They are used to distribute weight, over which it is fastened to like a screw. They can be used as a spacer, locking device, a wear pad, and etc. So canoe washers, they can be used to help strengthen the fastening of two materials, or they can use, or for example, the rubber washer, they can help reduce any scratches that can be done by the fastener, like a screw. The screw is very sharp, so maybe the bolt. The bolt sometimes bolt are very sharp and can ruin the material easily if you don't have a washer. So they can be used just for that. Next, we have the rivets. It is a permanent fastener that consists of a head, a shank, and a tail. This cannot be disassembled without damaging it. So the rivet is actually one solid piece of a fastener, and since it's very solid, it's very strong as well. So the process by which two materials are joined together by applying force, either by hand drill or power drill, is known as riveting. And this type of fastening procedure is actually very strong. That's why commonly you can see this on the bridge, like the old bridge or the new bridge. Next slide. So next we have the anchors. Now, not the anchors you find on a ship. This is widely used in construction and masonry or stone industries and are used to connect structural and non-structural material to concrete or other materials. They're generally installed by drilling a larger hole in the base material, and then the anchor is inserted into the hole or to a depth known as bevel depth. So I'm not gonna go into detail what bevel depth is because we're just going to focus about the types of fasteners. So here's some examples: cement board screw anchor, expansion anchor, and a hollow anchor, and etc. So there are two general types of anchors. We have the mechanical anchor and chemical anchor, which you can see the difference in the next slide. So next with the inserts. These are strong cylindrical shaped threads and are used for multiple purposes, such as securing a long-lasting connection between the various materials or to repairing stripped threads. So let's say ang thread sa yung bolt ay lilinayan nga nakatusgan, maybe it's dull, so you can use an insert to help it strengthen the fastening force even more. So next, so muna yung akong ipakita ninyo. Now this is so on the left we have the mechanical anchor, or on the bottom it says expansion type anchor, and then on the right we have the chemical type anchor. So what the main difference is basically the mechanical anchor, or by the name expansion type anchor. The end of the anchor has a mechanical piece that according to the name, it expands and it hits the side of the concrete, so it makes it very strong, and it's hard to pull out easily. Next we have the chemical anchor. So the difference is actually you're gonna put resin onto the hole so that it will become a solid piece. So just from that alone, maybe there's a difference. Maybe there's a slight advantage or even a big advantage depending on the certain situation. So maybe the chemical is more versatile, while the mechanical is more of a cheaper or a more common alternative. So those are the types of anchors. Next slide, please. So next we have a threaded rod, also known as a stud. It is a relatively long rod that is threaded on both ends. The threads may extend along the entire length of the rod or a certain length. So the first picture, as you can see, the threads only reach to a certain point. While on the second and third picture, the threads are all the way along the length of the rod. So they are designed to be used in tension. So we have oh no, lahi mo ng examples. Ignore that. Sige. Retaining fasteners. This fastener holds components onto a shaft or in a housing/bore when installed, typically in a groove, for one-time use only. Once installed, the exposed portion acts as a shoulder which retains a specific component or assembly. They are commonly made in carbon steel, stainless steel, or beryllium copper, and they may feature different finishes for aesthetics, like maybe they could be gold or maybe they could be silver. and they also have corrosion protection because these types of fasteners are prone to heavy rusting depending on where you put them. Next slide, please. So that was me and Matthew discussing about the fasteners, and I hope you get the point. Yeah, you should feel safe and always wear your construction vest when in your construction area. So now we're gonna move on to the next topic, which are accessories, and I would like to pass on the mic to Elijah. Take it away.
Hello.
Hi.
So what I'm wearing now is the usual Filipino construction worker outfit,
Yes.
as you can see. And then this is very unsafe because, as Clarence said, there's no something to protect around your body like the vest, and there's no like you're just wearing like a hat and not the safety hat. Not the safety hat. So whenever there's something like falling or like a debris, it falls on top of your head and it doesn't like protect you. It's just yeah, it's just there for shade and like yeah. So I will now proceed with my presentation. So we have here accessory. So accessory refers to a thing which can be added to something else in order to make it more useful. Building accessory. It refers to the additional materials used to equip various purposes in construction. So basically, additional accessories to provide a safer and more convenient user's way of using it. So I will discuss three kinds: hinges, door locks and latches, safety and convenience door accessories. Next slide, please. So for hinges, a hinge is an external joint which holds two elements of facades together, permitting limited rotational movement. So I have 9 examples of hinges, which I will discuss later. Next slide, please. So the first hinge is T-hinge. It offers little security as the fixing screws are exposed and can be easily opened. Next one is swing away hinge. Hinges that swing away door completely out of the opening. This allows for maximum clear width of the opening. Next one is butt hinge. This one is the most common type of hinge found around the house to hinge two wooden parts or butt hinges. This is because they are simple, applicable to most projects, and are useful to come in many varieties. Next one is piano hinge, used where any opening requires support along an extended length. So I think it's these four are the more on the basic side because they're mostly like stuff that you can just see around the house. Next slide, please. So we have here strap hinge. Strap hinge has leaf plates that are fully exposed when the door is in the closed position. Concealed hinge, used to hinge cupboard and cabinet doors so that they are not externally visible. Invisible hinge, give a clean modern look to doors by being entirely hidden when the door is closed. Pivot hinges, this carries the weight at the bottom of the door for a strong and stable installation. They also create a frameless view and streamlined appearance. Next view, please. So I will now discuss door locks. So as I bet everyone knows about this, is this basically just locks for the doors. It basically provides security. And we have latches, which is basically like a fastening on the door or a gate. It consists of a metal bar which you lift in order to open the door. So I have here 5 examples of door locks and latches. Next slide. The first one we have is thumb latch. So it's basically just a latch having a lever form to be presented by the thumb. I'm sure like a lot of people like tried using this now. The next one is rim lock, a surface mount lock that installs on the surface of a door and uses a latch that slides into the keeper on the door rim or frame to secure the door. Next slide, please. So this one is the most basic. I'm sure like everyone has seen bore-in door lock because I think it's used mostly here in the Philippines. So but um because of its like lock, it doesn't really provide like maximum security, because like you can just use like a credit card to like open it or something. So or like you can like jimmy it back. The next one is deadbolt lock set. It has a bolt that must be activated by a key or thumb third. It offers good security because it is not spring activated and cannot be jimmied, opened with a knife or credit card. So the difference between these two, the bore and door lock and deadbolt lock set, is like the security they provide. So the deadbolt lock is like more secured because like dili siya like open using like a credit card. And the other one is bore and door lock. Like I'm sure like ka-try na mo like anang murag malakan mo sa balay or something, and then like your parents say like, hello, like let's use like a credit card or something to open it. The next one is Morty's food lock set. Assembled from many curious odd-shaped mechanical parts and enclosed in an inside a heavy gauge steel case, punctured with circular and square holes that appear to represent a secret code. So this one for me is like the most it provides the maximum security because it has its own like secret like code, and like it's very hard to open. So people use this when they like when they're trying to secure a room that is full of like expensive stuff. Yeah, next slide please. Lastly, I'll discuss about other door accessories. So this basically just miscellaneous or collective of different things that serve different purposes, whether it be for safety, security mechanisms, or convenience-based mechanisms. The first one here is overhead door closer. So I'm sure like everyone like has seen this because like it's basically like for when you open the door, like it does that when you open the door and close it, it doesn't bang. Or like when you open it, like you don't have to like close it, like you can just walk in the door and like let the overhead closer close the door. The next one is panic exit mechanism. So we can see this in buildings, like in the fire exit door, because like this is mainly for safety. This mainly for safety mechanisms, so that whenever there's an emergency, people can just like push down and then open the door, compared to like trying to figure out how to open the door. The next one is floor door closer. A door closing device which is installed in a recess in the floor below the door to regulate the opening and closing swing of the door. So it's just like the overhead door closer, but floor version. Next slide. So we have here the barrel bolt, a rod-shaped bolt for fastening a door or the like attached to one side of the door at the edge and sliding into a socket on the frame of the opening. So I'm sure everyone has seen this it's like used for like cheap I think I've like seen it a lot for like cheap morag CRs gani, like public CRs, like they have this like when they sa door sa mga cubicles and stuff. The other one is door chain, used for extra security in the house, often used in early Filipino houses. The next one is foot bolt, a bolt operated by foot pressure and attached to the bottom of a door to hold it in either open or closed position. The last one is sliding door track mechanism, used to make doors slide conveniently. So that's all I have for building accessories.
So that was it for our entire presentation. We were discussing about hardware, fastener, and accessories. So I hope you were able to learn something, and we have our Filipino construction worker with the Filipino style clothing. So don't forget, always wear your construction vest here in the construction area so that you can always feel safe. Nothing is better than always feeling safe whenever you are around. For this ingon nga mo, so mo construction vest taga asa mo lakaw. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you, and yeah, take care. God bless.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 2, especially for the extra lesson on safety wear. No? Pero kulang pa. We'll have another class on what we call the safety wear, safety gadget. I forgot what it's called. But I'm going to share my screen because I want to supplement that lecture with some other details. So here there was Matthew gave already a description of the snails. I just want to point out that the difference between the common nail and then the casing nail is that the casing nail is made so that the head is flush to the surface of the wood. Now, the common nail, when you use it, the hair protrudes, the head protrudes, no? The casing nail, it's supposed to be flush, but then you have to use a special drill bit. Meaning to say, you have to make a hole first using that drill, and that drill has what we call a countersink. It's called a countersink bit, no? At the end of the bit, when you make a hole, the, it it creates like a shallow dish of hole, no, which fits the head of the casing nail. So exactly. So therefore, when you put in the nail, so it's there. It does not crack the wood, and it's flush to the surface. So it's clean. The finishing nail, the head is almost the same diameter as the body, just a little bigger for the hammer, and then it's supposed to go even deeper than the surface of the wood. So therefore, what you see is a hole because the head of the nail is already inside, and that's the time that you put in that glue that I mentioned before, the wood glue with the powder of the wood, and then you cover that, and then you won't notice that there was a nail there once you finish it. The concrete nail, as you can see from here, it looks like aluminum, and then it's normally used. Well, it's used only for concrete. The rest are used for wood. Okay, and it comes in many sizes, from 1 inch to I don't know how big. Okay. The umbrella nail or the roofing nail is also called the umbrella nail because the head is like the thumbtacks, like an umbrella. So if you use that in the roof and then you seal, so it helps like dissipate the water when it rains, no? So it doesn't go inside. Regarding bolts and nuts, so um, what I want to emphasize here is more of the carriage bolt. So you can see the carriage bolt here. Normally it's the head is plain. Okay, so this is decorative. So you tighten it using the nut. Okay, this is sometimes used in furniture if you need to bolt it, but you don't want it to look like well, the machine bolt, because it does not look very nice to look at. So instead, you may choose a carriage bolt. You might also see this in some of the old doors. So you see only like circles, and then they're actually carriage bolts. I think it was Matthew who said that he does not know whether there is a female thread. Well, the female thread are the thread inside the hexagon, the nuts, all the nuts, and anything that receives the male thread, of course. Now, in screws, what is important aside from the size, yes, the shape of the head is actually the hole, the plus and minus sign that Matthew was saying. So it's either a Phillips or a slotted, no, or an ordinary screw, which corresponds also to the type of screwdriver that you're going to use. So if someone asks you to give him a Phillips screwdriver, so it's referring to a screwdriver used for for screws where the head has a uh, cross slot like this. Okay, otherwise it's the flat screwdriver that the guy is asking for. Now there's a square flat head. So what is used? No, what we use here there is what we call I think it's called a hex. So it's just a piece of metal with the profile of this, so that and then it's like shaped into L, so that you insert one end here and then you use the arm to rotate it. This is normally used in furnishings, knockdown furniture. The hinges, this was explained properly. The door locks, what I want to emphasize is that the bore-in door lock set does not always make use of the knob. Okay, this is the knob. It can also have a lever like the one right beside it in the mortise door lock set. So, and then the lever is more advantageous, especially for people with disabilities, because you do not need to use your hand to open the door. You can use any part of the body as long as you pull the lever down. You can use your elbow if you're carrying so many things, for example, so you use your elbow to open the door. So that makes it more convenient. Now, also something which is not mentioned in the report is that there's one type of lock set, which is what we call the bed and bath lock set. Okay, bedroom and bathroom lock set. Now, what is that? That is a lock that does not require a key. So all you need to do is to push a hole to open the door. This is used normally in bed and bathrooms because sometimes people get locked in, and those who get locked in normally are like children or old people or sick who cannot, for emergency purposes, who cannot go out, no? Or cannot reach the door to open it when they're locked it, and then they need help, so they cannot go to open it for the help, no? But of course, we have a problem with privacy here in the Philippines, so the bedroom is always locked, especially because in the bedroom we keep all our valuables. But in other countries, for example, in Germany, I noticed when we were there that their doors do not require locks, no? So, in fact, there's no lock at all. So what we would do when we take the showers or when we use the bathroom is that we just hang a cloth outside to indicate that there's someone using, so that no one accidentally opens and you get exposed. The deadbolt, there are also two types. If you notice here, there's a keyhole. So it's possible that there's also a keyhole at the other end. So the only way to open it is using a key, whether from this side or the other side. Now, another version is that on the other side, you have a lever or I think a knob. Anyway, you turn it so that you open. So, and then outside, there's the keyhole. Okay, so the mortise door lock set is more special. Therefore, you will hardly see it. No, rim lock set. There is a type which slides a barrel downwards where they meet. No? So this is normally used for sliding doors, wooden sliding doors, the heavy ones. Okay, and then miscellaneous door hardware. These have been explained. But But what I want to emphasize is that you use a foot bolt and what is not found here is an overhead bolt, okay, which you can pull by a chain. So an overhead bolt is like the foot bolt, except that it's rotated and it's anchored towards the top. So you pull a chain to release it. In the foot bolt, you step on the lever to release it. So there's a spring mechanism. You use this if you have if you have double doors, two doors, no? Because you have to keep one stationary if it's not used, so that the lock in the other leaf of the door does not get destroyed. Otherwise, it will destroy if this one is also moving a lot. So you only release this one if you need two doors open. Okay. So every time you specify a double door, you should also specify the foot bolt and the chain bolt as hardware. No? Otherwise, everything else is covered here. So what will happen now is that I will wait for both groups to submit their slides and also the 5 questions. Was it 5 questions each member? I think it was 5 questions each member. No? And then next meeting, after the presentation of the next group, we will have a short quiz. It will not only be about the 5 question each group submitted, each member submitted, but I will also put in my questions. I will also upload later the slides that I showed, which were prepared by Architect Behik for the 2 topics as additional supplements. Okay, so I hope you where to pass. Okay, I'll open a portal in Canvas where you can upload the items. Just wait for it. Okay, so that's it. Whoever made the recording, please send me a copy or make me an editor or owner.
Sir, I have a
Yes, Elijah.
okay, sir. When each of us will pass sa canvas, or like every one person will like gather all the questions, because like amo nagibutang among questions sa docs.
Yes, only it's possible to have only one person submit for the whole group, but each group has to contribute to the questions.
Okay, sir. None of me questions, sir. We just need to send it
Okay.
na. Thank you.
How many groups will present next meeting? Only one. Okay, only
Sir.
one.
Question, sir.
Yes.
Kuan,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ang sa group 1 kay 3 topics remi, sir, and then 4 Mika members. Pila ka items? 15 ka items or 20 ka items? Kay 3 topics raman to.
How do you divide 15 by 4? So,
Kami sa
yeah. Pero ang sabot nato is 5 questions each member. So, mangahoy na lang ka og
So, amo lang
question from other topics.
Okay. So amo lang 20, sir.
Yeah, so
Okay, thank you.
there should be 20. So 20. Okay, no more questions. So thank you very much. Very good groups 1 and 2, and see you on Monday. Yeah, no problem. Monday. See you on Monday. Okay, recording ha. Tagay ko copy. So goodbye for now.
Bye, sir.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
sir. Enjoy your weekend, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You
Bye,
too.
sir.
Enjoy your
Thank you,
weekend.
sir.